Hello, welcome back to the channel, family. It's your boy E for Dividend Passable Bro with another video. Now I'm just waking up, so y'all know the medicine I've been taking to kicking my butt, right? It's not a medicine, it's like one for pain and then one for it's like a muscle relaxer for the muscle tear that I had from working out so like a crazy person, thinking I'm 25 years old. Anyway, that kept me, every time I take that thing, it made me go to sleep, and I have to take it for 5 days. So I think tomorrow is the last day, but I don't know if I'm going to take the relaxer during the day because I got to work. If I take it during the day, I'm going to be sleeping all day. All right, guys. So welcome to the channel. Share the content, right? Subscribe to the channel if you're new, your first time watching the channel. I know we have a lot of new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. And I want to ask that watch the content, of course, and then share the content. If you have questions, you can always send them to me via email. My email is in the description. It's in the title description, or you can send me a message in Discord, whatever works for you. Discord messages, direct messages, private, or email is private. If you don't want usually if I even mention anything about what we discuss, your name is not going to be called, so nobody going to know who you are anyway. So don't worry about that. Full disclosure, this channel is about my portfolio, and everything I do and talk about here is for entertainment purpose only. Do not use this as financial guide, financial advice. I mean, you can use it as a guide. It's up to you, but don't use it as financial advice, okay? Don't come for me later on and be like, yeah, I listened to that guy and now all my money is gone. No, don't do what I do, okay? Do what I say. We should tell you guys all the time. Do safe things with your money, okay, guys? Anyway, enough of that. Now, on Sunday, I like to talk about everything good that is going on with me, or bad, or whatever. Also, before I forget, guys, of course, the channel is kicking butt, right? We at 100, we're at 1420. So I like to give you little numbers, right? We're at 1,420 subscribers. This is amazing, right? From a channel. Now, I started a channel a year ago. I created this a year ago, but I just really didn't put no video on there until my portfolio went down. I'm like, you know what? I gotta start creating a video of my portfolio, right? And since then, of course, we are here today, right? After all, all this craziness with the portfolio, of course, we are here today because I literally create content every day. And on Sunday, I just like to talk about random things, right? And like I say, eventually this Sunday video gonna be live, right? Where I will either have people on the call. We might talk about, their portfolio and what direction they go. It's kind of like an interview thing, right? And something to motivate you guys. This channel is mainly about motivation, right? Of course, I talk a lot about living abroad and all this other stuff, but you can live anywhere. When you make enough money, you can live anywhere. You have the choices is fucking ridiculous. Okay, excuse my bonjour, but you got many choices to where you want to live when you're making a lot of money. For me, I know people say, oh man, you make all this money, you trying to move to Colombia because you're cheap. No, I'm trying to build generational wealth for my kids and my family, right? Mainly for my children. That's my family. My cousins, my brothers, they're family, but 99% of the time they're not going to inherit what I have. That's going to go to my kids. So that's when I say family, that's what I'm talking about. People that can inherit your stuff, or your ex-wife that you still have on your information at your bank account as a dependent, right? So when something happened to you, guess what? That person that you hate so much, they're going to be collecting some of your money. So you got to make sure you clean your stuff up, right? If you with somebody and you trust them enough to put them on there and stuff don't work out, you got to go remove them from there. Because guess what? When something happened to you, the ex-wife name on that document, even though she's an ex, she still was a wife, and her name on that document, give her full access to everything you have. And she can clean you out. If she's the mother, if she's not the mother of your children, she can clean you out and your children get nothing. Especially if you don't have your kids on there also, right? And have percentage. So guys, like I said, I try to give the best advice that I can for free. I even do consultation for free. Okay, like I say, eventually I will charge you guys, but this stuff here, I'm in training for retirement, right? I'm in training for retirement. Is what I'm in. So I'm in training for retirement. Is what I'm doing right now. And of course, I moved out of the office and of the other room, and I'm over here because the ceiling. There's some issue with the ceiling, and they're supposed to come fix that tomorrow. They came Saturday, but they couldn't get it fixed. So of course, your boys out here doing what I gotta do, okay? Making these videos for you guys. So as I was saying, make sure to clean your stuff up, because you can't say, oh, well, I married this woman, now I'm divorced, she's a nice person, and if you haven't taken care of your kids, and make sure your kids name all that stuff. Well, something happened to you, all your little change you've been working hard to save up, she's gonna get it. I hear it every day from a lot of different people that it happened to all the time. So you got to clean house and make sure your stuff is in order, okay? And I'm not just selling you, for the most part, not all of it, because a lot of stuff I'm doing now, some of the things are new. So as I build these businesses, these portfolios, I call them businesses. As I build these businesses, right? Yeah, eventually I add all my children to that, right? And the ones that they get the percentage. So you gotta do that for you too. So don't say, well, that old dude, he ain't tell me nothing. All he do about making videos about buying stocks. Like I tell you guys all the time, the buying positions, that stuff is easy. Once you figure out your strategy and what you want to do, it's pretty easy. It's not hard at all. You just point and click, you put the amount of money you want to spend, and you buy it. So any idiot can do that. But having that strategy that is going to build your portfolio, having that strategy that is going to build your portfolio, that's more important than anything else, right? So for me, what I do, I set core positions, right? It can be, and for you it can be anything. Yours can be Coca-Cola, yours can be Nike, yours can be JP Morgan Chase, yours can be McDonald's. It can be any stock that you think is going to be core for you. And we put all this money into a high yield in return to generate income, right? And then take that income and reinvest it into the core. So for me, in one portfolio, I might have 20 core, and then in the other portfolio, I might have freaking 110, 120. Because when I started this initially, my investment goal was to be able to make enough money to retire outside the country, right? That was it, right? To get out of the U.S. when COVID happened. How can I get out of the U.S. and don't have to worry about money? That was the main thing, right? And I stumbled on investing in dividend. Now I've been a day trader before. I didn't like it because I was spending too much time on the computer or on the phone and not having a bigger portfolio. They just take a lot of time. The portfolio is small. The day trading rule, you can only buy so much stuff and you can only sell so much. So of course, I wasn't making no money. And after that, I was like, you know what? I need to figure something else out. And then I don't remember how I stumbled on this, whether on YouTube or like everything else. And when I found this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And another thing, the goal wasn't to retire at 55 initially. It was just to have work until I reached that $24,000, whatever, how long it will take to get me to 24,000. I know I wanted to do it before I retired at 59 and a half. I know I wanted to do that. So, I just started putting money into that. And when I started initially, my company, as you guys all know, when we had, COVID-19, well, this channel is not monetized, so I can talk about it. Before it was kind of taboo to talk about it. But when that happened, my job, they give us two options. One, you can take 50% pay cut. Two, or you can leave. And I took 50% pay cut. Very few people left. Very few. Maybe 2 or 3 people left the company. At that time, I don't know why. but I wasn't close to those people, close to them. I won't say those people, but I wasn't close to them because I work as a director for information security, right? And so pretty much I didn't really deal with the employees for that sense. Everything I only dealt with the owners. I reported directly to the COO of the company, and I only dealt with the owners, the other two owners at the time. So I would deal with the employees, but not a lot, right? I would send them emails every now and then for training and stuff like that, what they had to do. But my staff usually handle everything else. So I had about two in Colombia at one point, two in India, and then it came down to one person in India, and then I had a person in the office in Atlanta, and that was it. I mean, a small company, right? Everybody, most of the staff worked remote except for the call center. Everybody else was worked remote. So I mean, my job at the time wasn't remote, but I made it remote because it was like I don't have to be in the office. And everybody else, my boss is remote. Everybody else remote. So I would go to the office once a week, a couple of hours. Of course, they didn't like that, but we bumped heads. But I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. If you don't like it, then get rid of me. So I did that for five plus years. But back to what I was saying, when that happened, I was like, man, I'm screwed, right? And luckily, at the time, the thing with the mortgage for the governments, to pass that thing where you don't have to pay your mortgage, blah, 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 blah. And I was one of the people like, you know what, I'm not going to pay my mortgage, like a dumbass. I wish, now I'm looking back at it, I wish I did. But at the end of that period, I had this big $20,000 worth of mortgage for however long it was, right, that I hadn't paid. I think it was more than that. But my boss, she like, you know what, Edwin, I'm going to give you the money and you can pay me back. I was like, really? So I was like, so what does she want in return? You know what I'm saying? Because she's a tall, blonde, beautiful woman, right? She didn't wear no makeup. She was just basic. All she do was work, go to the gym, exercise, and that was her. And she almost as tall as I am, like 5'9", 6 foot. She played basketball and all this stuff in University of Ohio, went back in her day. And so I was like, okay. She said, well, we're gonna meet for dinner. I was like, okay. So we met for dinner, and we talked. But it was after everything, right? It was after people. It was safe for people to meet people and stuff. And we met for dinner and talked. And she like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the money. She's like, I know you've been busting your butt for us for 5 years plus, and there's nobody else deserving this, this money. But then she started giving me some insight what was going on in the company, because I just mind my business, do my job, go home. That was it. And all the politics and stuff that was going on, and she's like, well, I need you to do this for me. You got to keep an eye out. So if anything, let me know, right? So of course, how do you do that? How do you do that without spying on people, even though I'm the spy for the company, right? But I was like, okay, whatever. Give me my money, And she gave me the money, and I got caught up on my mortgage, and I was paying her I think $1,000 a month, right? And so everything was good. And then one day I'm on my way to the airport. I get a call from, at the time, my colleague, right? Who eventually, he became my manager. And of course, that didn't work out for a long time, because, it's like, how you gonna tell me what to do when I gotta monitor your job and you're responsible to making sure you do your job? It's like a dumb thing, but when people, when they don't know how to handle somebody, could the owner say, you know what, I don't want to be managing the company no more. I just report to them, pretty much giving them status. That was it. Like every month or every quarter, when they come to the office, I'll go there, we meet up, have lunch, all that stuff, and just get them status. Sometimes I would do it over the phone, but the owner was like, you know what? After both of the owners part ways, the other guy, he was like, man, I don't want to do this shit no more. He was still doing it, but he had some other idiot doing this stuff. And long story short, right? I find out they about to get rid of this lady, right? So they doing all kind of undermine stuff. And I was like, man, this is not where I want to be. This is not where I want to be. And during that time, I already started building my portfolio, but it was very little. I got maybe one video out there when I did the first video, and I just kind of stopped because it was like I was like mumbling and trying to get the words out and talking about dividend and drips and all that stuff. And I was like, man, I need to find me another job. So I got on the on the interweb and started looking for a job, and I found a remote job. So now I have two jobs, right? Two high income jobs combined paying over 300K a year, easy. And I was like, okay, now I get making all this money. The first thing people go do, go buy a new car, buy new shoes. No, your boy, because I was already traveling, going back and forth to Colombia. I would come every quarter until COVID happened, of course, and I had to stop. But looking back, when I got that second job, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So I took 80% of that money from the second job, right? I invested in whatever 401k they had at the time. I did the match. I just did the match. That was it. Only the match, right? And then I took 80% of my after-tax dollars, right, and put it into my investment account. Now the other 20%, that was potted money, up to a point, right? And then what I did with the other job, that other job would pay my bills, do everything normally, and I would still do the investment, but my job wasn't giving no match, right? My first job, we have just started 401k, but it wasn't giving no match. So I just put whatever amount in there that I felt was required. But I did more than what was required, because what I was looking at it is I'm making all this money. I think by law you can put, apart from your 401k, you can put up to maybe like 20-some thousand a year away, right? That you can put into that money that they can deduct, right? And that would lower your tax burden. So on the regular job, I did that, and then that was it. And after that was settled, I mean, of course, it's automated, and that would just go through. And then the other 20%, right, dollars after taxes on the second job, that was my play money. Now, you guys know I like to fly, travel everywhere, and I would just go, right? And the more I traveled, my places were DR, Costa Rica, which I got people there, and then of course Colombia. Those are the places I went. Now, I went a lot. Of course, I went to Africa. I'm African, of course. I went to Liberia. I went to Ghana. I went to Kenya. Went to Tanzania. What else did I go? London. I went to one of them Asian company, one of them Arab company. I can't remember the name now. I went there. So of course, your boy, I got a few stamps in my passport, right? But everything else that I did up until this point was always bringing me back to Colombia. Now, in the beginning, I didn't like the food because the natural tasting food that we don't get in the U.S. It tastes different, bland. So I had to bring my own salt and pepper, all that stuff. Now I eat the food, I don't even worry about, complain about, oh, it don't taste right, because my body, my taste bud have adjusted to eating fresh food than when I'm home eating stuff that I'm constipated because it's all processed and stuff, right? Now, DR is a little different because a lot of stuff gets shipped in from the U.S. But out here, I mean, it's a lot, especially if you're eating fish in DR and stuff like that, you're fine. But if you're eating other stuff, you might be eating the same stuff you eat in the U.S. But out here is different. People grow their own fruits and everything else fresh, from the market. And I love it. I love that, right? But not only that, the cost of living is so low. So when I got to my budget and says, well, I only need 24 grand, which is about $2,000 a month. Now, if you guys don't know this, right? If you get in dividend income, right? I haven't looked at this in a while, but I think it's up to like 47,000 for a single person and up to 80 something for a married couple. So if you get in dividend, qualified dividend, let me repeat that, qualified dividend, let's say if you're not working, no job, and you're receiving qualified dividend, right? You gotta look it up. Qualified, what the hell qualified dividend is. because I'm not going to be doing all the extra popping up on the screen here. It is what it is. I'm telling you guys what to do. You can pause the video, look it up, get the information. Qualified dividend will allow you to collect that, so you can live in Colombia, anywhere in the world, right? 40,000, 47,000. You can live a good life. A lot of other countries outside the U.S. I think you can do decent in the U.S. with that much if you have a payout house or payout condo. I mean, 40-something thousand should be fine, especially if you got to pay taxes on it. That's a lot of money, right? But you don't have to pay taxes on it, on that 40-something qualified dividend. Not any other dividend, but qualified dividend. The tax burden is usually about 15% or so. But if you were single, it's 40-something. If you marry, it's 80-something. So that they kind of double it. Okay. So when I read about that, I was like, oh snap, it's business for me. I don't even need 40. I already been here, multiple times. I got my apartment. Man, I can do this with 24 grand, easy. And the funny thing is, since I've been going back and forth in Colombia, and I'm in Colombia right now, of course, in my apartment. But on average, what I spent outside of the expenses for the apartment and paying for a manager and all that stuff, what I spend in my other apartment and food, I spend less than $1,600 a month, right? And that with an 18-month-old baby. I got a car here. I pay insurance on my car, food, internet, all the other stuff. I mean, I pay internet for 2 apartments. Internet in this apartment here is more expensive than the one in Villavicencio. I think this one's 36. The other one is 32. I'm not looking at my expense sheet right now, but I track all this stuff. So every month is different. Like now, the dollar is $1 is like 4,100 pesos, something like that. So like now, right? I pay the amount in pesos and it's converted from dollars to peso. So this month, in the last 2 months, 3 months, right, my expenses have dropped because the dollar is more valuable, right? And also what I've been doing is transferring money to my Colombia account. So when I use them, when I buy things, I don't have to use the conversion rate with my credit card and all that stuff. So it's a lot, it's cost effective that way. And I have a friend that lives right across the street from me. He's an ex-cop from Chicago. He lives in the building right in front of me here. So whenever I'm in Cartagena, that's my boy. I mean, he helped me when I was having chest pains and stuff. He gave me contact information to call, even though the guy didn't respond till the next day. I already been to the doctor already because my friend Olga, she came through and started calling around and took me to the clinic where I did my checkup and my tests and everything else. And not only that, right? I was going to put that on my insurance in the U.S. because I don't have Colombia insurance now. And come to find out, bro, because she was like, when I went in, like, you got to pay $90 to see the doctor. So she was like, that's a lot of money. And of course, me being going back and forth, I was like, yeah, that's a lot. Anyway, I was like, you know what, we're here, let's just do it. Pay the $90. Within 2 minutes, they called me to the back, did my blood pressure, all the other stuff, did all the EKG and all that tests, right? And then they came back again. It was like, and the doctor's like, after he did his checkup and stuff, he's like, well, he prescribed me a 24-hour study, what I got to do, probably this week coming. And then he gave me medicine for inflammation, and then he gave me stuff for muscle relaxer because my muscle was contracting. That's why it made it feel like I was having a freaking heart attack. But it would feel like a sharp pain, and so he gave me the muscle relaxer. Now when I take the muscle relaxer, of course it makes me relax because I don't smoke, I don't drink. So of course any kind of thing into my system that's not normal, it kind of put me to sleep. So of course I took that thing. I ate breakfast today and I took it. I watched the football game. By 11 o'clock I started falling asleep, so I had to go to sleep. I just woke up like an hour ago. I'm like, man, well, good thing they only told me to take that for 5 days. So I got one more day to take it, I think, and that would be it. I think today might be the 5th day. I need to look at the box. But thank God, she came through for me and taking me, because now I got a peace of mind. What I was worried, like, oh shoot, I don't work hard, build all this big old portfolio, right? And I even get to enjoy my money, and then I'm gonna kick the bucket and some snot-nosed dude will be running around with my little baby girls and wasting my money, stuff like that. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. But so of course that kind of relaxes me, right? But I'm telling you, I'm giving you guys a life story. This is about Edwin, right? This channel is about me and how I got to where I am, right? And people say, "Oh, you so lucky." No, now in that period of time, right, while I'm working all these jobs, I know I'm jumping back and forth, but y'all got to stick with the story. In that period of time while I'm working back and forward, right, I've changed jobs. I've changed. Now, my one job was that I had for all these years. I had that job. They didn't pay as much, but it allowed me the convenience and availability to travel, right, to live anywhere, pretty much. Even though it wasn't a remote job, but I made it a remote job. And when I got the other jobs, they were all remote jobs. So of course, it's easier to say, you know what, to hell with it. I'm making more money here than you guys are paying me anyway. The only good thing I always liked about working multiple jobs, it was if I'm having a problem, if they're using similar technology, most of the time if I'm having a problem in this job, the next week or 2 weeks later, or similar days apart, I will start having problems in the other job. So if I solve one in this job, by the time this one kick in, I already know what it is. I already looking for it to figure it, to get it fixed. So that made my second job and my first job easier because it was vice versa. Sometimes they use similar tools like scanning tools, firewalls, endpoint security tools, and then IDS tools, the identity tools, all the different things, right? We had do similar product. So when one product having a problem, if I fix that problem, of course I'm going to the next one and fix it. Of course I would tell my boss, hey, we're having a problem with this, even though there's no problem. And I'll fix it because I know that's going to be a problem. Or if it's already updated, then I won't say it. But if it's not up to date and I know it's going to cause an issue, I'll let them know, hey, we've got an issue with this. So just in case you see some, just know what I'm fixing it before the problem even happens. And she was always like, how do you always know? And they haven't even sent out updates and letting us know. I'm like, it's my job to keep the thing functioning, right? So, but that's how it was. And the blessing that those second jobs, now I worked 2 other jobs for that 3-year period. One, I got burned out, literally, I got burned out. I was managing over 200 something people, and out of those 200 something people, over 200 of them was in India. And if you guys ever work with Indians, you'll know they love documenting stuff, and they would have a meeting for a meeting, and I got burned out. They would pay me a lot of money, but I got burned out. I told them, you know what, I'm done. I can't do it no more. Y'all can keep your money because you're about to kill me. Because of working long hours, working from 6 in the morning for meetings because people in India, and then I have to get on calls at 10 at night for, it's like because of the time, like, no. I couldn't do that after that. I couldn't do that no more. I'm like, to hell with this. So, guys, it's like, you got to plan how you want things to be. Because nobody going to give it to you, right? Especially if you know what you want. Like I keep saying, I want to live outside the U.S., all that stuff. It don't have to be the same for you. It don't have to be, right? But as far as the investment part, now that can be the same for anybody. There's a lot of people that invest and make a lot of money that live in the U.S., right? There's a lot of people that invest and make a lot of money and live in the U.S. People ask me all the time, oh, what can I get a remote job? I mean, there's remote jobs out there. You just got to find them. But not all remote jobs is okay with you working in another country, right? It's stupid because you provide the same service. Some of the places got better internet. I get 500 meg internet speed here for $30 something dollars a month compared to what I get in the U.S. that I pay 3 or 4 times more for the same speed that I get here. So, it's cost effective, right? And the service is not, when I say service, I'm not talking about the internet service. The service from personal service that you get from people, it's not the best, right? But it's getting there. It's getting better. Compared to U.S., somebody do certain things, you can bitch about it. Over here, you can, sometimes some people care and some people don't care. So, but you have to adjust, right? And you realize, hey, you're not in your country, you're in someone else's country. So you got to take it for what it is, enjoy the best part of the country, and ignore the worst part of the country. Just make sure you keep yourself safe. Okay, guys. I know I've been rumbling and stuff, trying to get all this stuff out in short time, trying to keep the video short. But the bottom line is, right, you have to start. And, you know, I used to talk about it all the time in all the other videos. You just have to start. Because if you don't start and you keep waiting, right, I'm 51 and almost 52 in February, right? I started this, December will make it 5 years since I started investing, right, in dividend. Before I would just buy stocks, I would day trade, I own some stocks. But that's it. Now I own crypto too. I invest in crypto. But if you're somebody who cannot handle the stress of it going up and down, I recommend you stay out of it. Because one day you can be making. I have a friend who at one point, a few years ago, his crypto portfolio was over $1 million. Now, and when I used to talk to him all the time, his portfolio, because some of the stuff I had, he had, and it went to zero, and his portfolio came down from $1 million to at some point it was like 300,000, right? And I told him, I said, dude, you already a freaking millionaire. Why don't you sell those other smaller things and put most of that and buy most of that into Bitcoin and Ethereum? You're like, no, I'm good with that, you know. And when that stuff dropped, you know, I didn't even say I told you so, but I was like, bro, I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, what I had that went to zero wasn't that much, a few $1,000s in some different things that went to zero. I can't even think of the name now, Shibarium or whatever they call them, other stuff, Samaritan, whatever it is. I can't think of the name to tell you how much I care. Because well, one of the things, you put the money in there, if it goes if it rocket, okay, and go to the moon, yeah, you're a millionaire. If you go to zero, then of course you're still a zero near, right? You ain't got shit. But, and for me, those things didn't go through, right? I stuck with Shiba Inu, I stuck with Bitcoin and Ethereum, Celerium, and a couple of other stuff in my other account that I stuck with. But you have to be patient with that. So if you're going to invest into Bitcoin and all the other stuff, you need to be patient because, like I said, it's going to go up and down. Okay, guys. But I know, to keep a long story short, that's part of my journey to get into where I'm at now, right? It didn't happen overnight. Now, if you look at previous video, you will see where I was making 30, 40,000 a year in dividend, right? Until I started to add more money into my higher ultra yield investment. Now, because I was cool where I was until I realized I had to pay my daughter tuition, right? And I invested for E also. And it's funny that the kids got E's and A's and in that name. But I got 2 E's in the last 2. So I was investing for the older one, Iara, because I'm like, I gotta pay her tuition. How am I gonna do this? Because the girl, for whatever reason, she can't get the loan thing. She keep messing it up. And now she gotta wait till next semester to get the student loan. So that didn't give me a chance to build up the account as I want to pay for her school. So I had to spend $12,000 plus on a credit card. Now I got to pay the credit card back. No big deal. I mean, the portfolio is generating plenty of money to cover that. To cover that in a couple of months, right? I can split it up to where I pay that $12,000 in 3 or 4 months. But by the time you pay that in 3 or 4 months, of course, that's another $12,000 coming, because that's semester, per semester, University of Houston. You got to pay. So hopefully, right, by next semester, she got that worked out to where she can get the student loan, to where we can build this portfolio. So by the time she get out of school, we can pay that money back, or to where the portfolio is generating enough to pay the tuition, then we can pay the tuition and turn off the student loan, right? So that's the play there. That's how come I start adding more money to all these higher yield, because we got to do stuff for the kids. The thing our parents didn't do for us, we got to do it for them so they don't have to work as hard, I say that all the time. You don't want to bust your butt, work hard like your mom and dad did, and then you work hard, and then you kids work hard, and their kids work hard, because we didn't build anything for them to get into or grow into, right? Nothing. And when I talk to everybody, like, you put this money in your account, know that, and forget. Okay, you gotta make sure you transfer the money. When you transfer the money, send me a screenshot that you transfer the money into the account. When it hit that account, I need to see a screenshot when the money hit that account, right? And I tell you gotta just automate this thing. It's $7, $8 a week. You know, you get paid. You put the money into your bank account. You transfer the money from your bank account to your investment account. Just automate it, and she won't do it, of course. So we gotta go through this every week. But this is how I started adding more high yield. I had some high yield, yeah, but maybe I get in 5,000 or 6,000 a year, you know, from the different ones I had, to where now I'm getting 80, 90,000 a year from mostly from high yield, and the other 30, 40 is from the 1%, 2%, 3% things, right? But I'm trying to get out. Excuse me. I'm trying to get rid of all the 1%, and if you're close to 2%, you're gonna stay. But if you're under that, I'm gonna get rid of you. And if you get back to 2%, I'll bring you back. But you know, that's just the way I'm doing things nowadays. I've been drinking electrolytes, guys. No commercial. I've been drinking electrolytes because it helps, you know, add that energy and add more stuff that, you know, it keep you from having a lot of issues. So I've been drinking that. In the beginning, I thought it was like nasty, but it's actually tastes not too bad. So that's how all this started, right? This high yield stuff. If you go back a month ago, right, you will see where I was almost 2 months ago, well, a month ago, you know, 28, 90, 20 days, 30 days. You will see how the portfolio have grown every day, because I show this every day. So even for me, I was like, man, maybe I don't need to do this like this every day, because I'm showing you guys the same stuff every day. But come to think about it, it's like, well, this is how the channel, this is the base of the channel. We show the portfolio to let people know what we're doing, how the portfolio is doing. And if it's down, I show it going down. Usually when the market is down, then where I buy. So getting to 14,000 a year might be difficult if the market don't go down by much, because I'm still going to buy, because I have other things. Even though the market, if it's not a red day, I still have things in my portfolio that are red. And if they're high yield, of course, I'm going to buy into those to daily cost average to bring out my average cost. And the one thing that I keep talking about I want to do is transfer my portfolio from Charles Schwab to E-Trade. That's what I want to do. I want to move that portfolio from Charles Schwab to E-Trade, because I get more money from Charles Schwab than I would from E-Trade. So right now I'm in the process. I'm moving funds into Charles Schwab. I mean into E-Trade and Robinhood. Robinhood don't have any margins, but E-Trade have margins. So right now my portfolio in the Robinhood in Charles Schwab is like almost at $90,000. So I'm trying to put money into E-Trade, maybe at 20 grand. So when I transfer that portfolio, I already have $20,000+ in there, and then I mean more than 10,000. So when that 80,000 hit, I'll be a little bit over 100,000. So they usually give you 4 times a dollar. They give you $4 for every dollar. So that would, if I have 100,000, that would literally put us at 500,000 total in the account, and that would just catapult that portfolio, right? That would just send that portfolio to the moon, because we'll be buying more high yield dividend, and then taking that money and reinvesting that money into the lower yield stuff. So if I put maybe 300,000 into some MSTY, Alt3, Coney, and stuff like that, we'll be getting a lot of money, literally, you know, close to 20 grand and this somebody start paying weekly now. So I'm talking about 20 grand. We're talking about maybe $40,000-$60,000 a month from that portfolio, right? And if I'm getting that much, can you imagine? I can pay down the margins in a year or two, and then no margins, and then all that money is my money, and I'm still investing, but I'm investing into SCHD, SCHG, MO that pay. Okay, we're getting blurry over here. Let's see what's going on. So we'll be adding all that stuff to those different positions, and before you know it, man, we already on the road to be a liquid millionaire. The thing is to expedite it and do it safely, which is kind of hard to do both, because high yield is risky, and some of those are attached to a single stock. But you gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is. It's win or go home, right? It's win or go home. So people gonna be like, this dude is an idiot. He's putting all this money into this. But I mean, I've been blessed so far, or lucky, whatever you want to call it, right? So far to get everything. I mean, everything is okay, working out. Everything is working out. I can't complain, and I'm happy. I sleep like a baby, right? I sleep like a baby, and I'm not worried about whatever is going on. The bottom line is we pay attention to the market, and we try to do better than the S&P 500, and that's the goal. And eventually, I'm gonna get to that where where I don't have to worry about money. Well, at this point, I don't have to worry about money. So I take that back. I don't have to worry about money if I don't really want to. But it's in my nature. It's in all of us' nature to worry about things. The simplest thing. That sometimes it's insignificant. That's not even important anymore. But we still do that. So, but I mean, who don't, right? Now, I keep telling you guys, right? I do these different positions, these different portfolios as businesses. Take out emotion out of it. If you have a business, if you have somebody working for you and they don't do good, what you gonna do? You're gonna keep on paying them, but he need a job. No, you're gonna let that fucker go. Because in the same as these positions, if they're not doing good, sometimes we cut our losses. We cut them to where we're losing money, but it's okay because we can write them off in taxes, right? We can write them off in the taxes. And you gotta do what you gotta do that works for you. That's just part of my strategy. Okay, after being in the game for almost 5 years, I've learned a lot of different things, and and I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning, but I'm happy to be where I'm at right now, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna keep dragging this video on. I think we've gone way past what I'm trying to get to. I was trying to keep it at 30 minutes, but I know I've already gone past that. Remember, guys, everything I do, everything I try to show you guys is to motivate y'all. It's not to boast. Right? I could have continued doing what I'm doing, minding my business, making my money, and don't share this. But like I say, a lot of people ask me all the time, Edwin, where can I get a job and work remote? Bruh, that's your side hustle right here. It just depends what you want to do and how fast you want to do it. Right? Your risk level. That's all it is. So if you can come up with those two things and decide what you want, I'm willing to help. I do free consulting from now. Like I said, I consult with people. I help people get back on the feet, right? I ain't giving you the money, but I'm giving you the power to create your own money. That's better than giving you money, because I give you money today, tomorrow you come back and want to borrow. But if I teach you how to make it consistently with no issues, that's priceless. Now you guys take that to bed tonight. Stay blessed, guys. I love you. Peace.